everyone, and welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Transportation System.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Double Dose of Disney podcast. My name is Brittany, and as always, I am joined here by my fabulous, amazing, Disney-loving husband, Tony.
Hey.
Today on the podcast, we have decided to take it back to the beginning. When you are thinking of planning your first Disney vacation or your 100th Disney vacation, you really kind of start out with coming up with an idea of where you want to stay. So what we did is we broke down different scenarios for options of resorts that may be worth it for your party to stay at, and we're kind of going to go through our picks together. Ready to get into it?
It's going to be interesting. There's a lot going on here.
I know. Disney World has over 25 different resorts to stay at. So they have everything from value resorts, which are going to be the most economical options, moderate resorts that are like mid-range, deluxe resorts, which are the most expensive of the hotel options, and then deluxe villas, which are, I would say, like a condo at the
Pretty
beach
much.
or something like that. Like it's like a multi-room like villa with a full kitchen and all of that stuff. So there's so many different places you can stay at. I don't think there's any wrong or right choice of any Disney resort, but we're going to do our best.
A lot of
to
these
know.
questions too, it's going to come down to how many people do you have? Is
Right.
there a budget? Do you prefer to stay in a certain place, being close to a park?
Right.
So
Yeah,
these are going to be tough to answer. We'll do our best.
like Tony said,
Generalized.
yes. Like Tony said, there's so many variables that go into it when you're choosing a Disney vacation. And when I'm working with my clients to book their Disney vacation, the first thing that we go over is, of course, like the time of year they want to go. But also the which resort are they going to stay at based off of their needs for their family. So let's get into it.
First question, best resort for a first visit. And I'm sure all these we're going to refer to our first visit. We're going to be biased, folks, and this is what it is. What I got is Pop Art in Caribbean Beach.
Ooh, you want a Caribbean Beach?
One that we've stayed at all three of these resorts.
Yeah.
We stayed at Art of Animation first.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to stay at Pop.
Yeah, we were putting a Little Mermaid.
But
here.
those two are just really good because they're just so family friendly. So I mean,
Right.
I think a first visit, but you've got to be immersed in your first visit. And
Yeah.
these two are just huge, blown out, over the top theming on these two. So I mean, I feel like you have to go in head first and stay at one of these two.
Yeah, the value resorts at Walt Disney World are All-Star Sports, All-Star Movies, All-Star Music, Pop Century, and Art of Animation. The biggest thing about the value resorts is they all have larger-than-life theming to them. And with that, you get this incredible immersion into the details of the resort. So, like, at Art of Animation Resort, we stayed there our first trip, like Tony said, and there's different areas of the resort. Like, one area is themed to The Lion King, and there's like a Lion King playscape, and then there's Little Mermaid area, there's Finding Nemo area, there's a Cars area, and it's so cool. I think for you, if you were looking back at your trip, I tried to explain to you before, like, if you've never been to Disney, I tried explaining to you before, like, it's not just, I don't like calling Disney a theme park, that's like my pet peeve. I mean, it is technically what it is, but it's more than just a park. Like, it's literally its own functioning city. But I was trying to explain that to Tony before we got there, and I don't think you truly understood it until we were there. Right?
No, you really can't. I mean, all you're doing is looking at pictures and some vlogs and stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. It's its own city.
So,
And this, like, ties perfectly in these two resorts, like, just being in it.
yeah, so staying at the value resorts really puts you in that theming. Art of Animation is such a great resort because there's so many things. Like, there's Lion King theming in the parks. There's Finding Nemo theming in the parks. There's a Cars show at Hollywood Studios, but that's really kind of it. There's Little Mermaid theming in the park. So it was like we were small children surrounded by these really huge characters and this amazing theming, and we got to have the best trip. So for me, that's a very long way of saying my answer is, again, Pop Century or Art of Animation as well. Art of Animation has family suites, so they are ones themed to Lion King, Cars, and Finding Nemo. Pop Century is all themed to the different decades. We stayed there last September. We were supposed to stay there, I think, like every trip, and we had changed it. And we loved staying at Pop Century. It was so much fun.
Yeah, the Skyliner too, which is huge.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about staying at the value resorts is the only dining option is the food court. So when you wake up in the morning and you go eat breakfast at the food court, you're sitting there and there's all these families with their first time buttons on or something like that, and
we're drinking mimosas, folks.
Yes, we
what
do. We do. We so when you go to the
hiding it here.
When you go to the food court, we started on our first trip. When you go to the food court, we had the dining plan on our first trip, and you get a drink with your quick service meal. So Tony would get champagne, and then I would get orange juice. And we were like checking out. Remember, the cast member gave us like little
cups.
They were like little cups, like wine glass cups. So when we stay at a value resort now, we do the same thing, and then we ask them like, "Hey, can you give us those wine cups?"
Felt kind of out of place. Everyone's kind of looking at us weird, like, "Hey, we're here for a good time, not a long time."
Yeah.
You're just jealous because you can think about this.
Well, and like you're starting your day in a really fun way, and I love sitting at that's one of my favorite things. Eating at the food court in the morning and getting to see all of these families on their first trips, so excited to go to the parks. Like, there is nothing like that, like Disney energy in the morning. And when you say it, like when we stayed at Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs is a great resort too. But when we stayed there in February for the first half of our trip, we went to the food court in the mornings. But since that's like a DVC...
That one's really small.
Yeah, since that's a DVC resort, all of the rooms at least have a kitchenette or a full-size kitchen. So there's not as many people in there. So you're missing that, like, energy to get in the park in the morning and, like, all of, like, the Disney energy, if that makes sense. So that's why I say Pop Century.
What we stayed for there was perfect. We were golfing there, so that's the main reason why you're staying there is you're golfing. It's close to Disney Springs.
It's a great resort. It's one of our friends' home resorts. Their family's like home resort for
it's
the
real
GBC member.
Quiet.
Yeah. So what do you think is the best resort for a large family vacation? Like, I'm talking like either a family that has over 4 people in it or like multiple rooms, something like that.
My question is there in a budget?
Well, it depends.
Are we trying to go as cheap as possible, or does it matter?
I listed like 4 different resorts.
Say it's the listener question, make it up. A large family. I mean, in all these, there's no wrong answer. I feel like it almost has to do with location, though, too. When you have a large family, you first get people around.
Here's the scenario. Okay, so when I'm booking vacations for people, and I've booked vacations for parties of 25, and I've had like 5 people, like 5 rooms that they've divided up in.
So you have the answer to this, or
where
do people stay?
What is the resort that, well, there's no right or wrong answer for it, but what is the resort that you would say is best for a situation like that, where they're booking multiple rooms? Do you want me to go first?
Yep.
Okay, so my answer to that is Pop Century again, because it's a value resort.
Why?
Because there's so many rooms at Pop Century that it's not going to be hard to book a room there. And it's not going to be hard to get a room, like, connected close to each other.
Close together.
Yes, but I have different caveats. If you have a party of, depending on, let's say there's a family in your group that has 5 individuals, not all Disney hotel rooms accommodate 5 people. So you have to get a 5th sleeper room. And Caribbean Beach has 5th sleeper rooms, and Port Orleans Riverside, but I would say Caribbean Beach in this scenario.
That's what I was got in the back of my mind again. I was going to say that again for this one.
Yeah, Caribbean. I actually have a large party going in December, and they are staying at Caribbean Beach. There's 30 different rooms.
Then again, going back, it's probably the same as my first answer in all of them. Just the value resorts.
Yeah, it depends. So I try to pick one value resort, one moderate resort, and then one deluxe resort. So I said Pop Century for the value resorts, Caribbean Beach for a moderate resort, especially if you have 5th sleeper. Unfortunately, Disney's kind of limited with their options on rooms that sleep 5. So value resorts, you're really not going to be able to find a room that sleeps 5, so you're going to have to go to a moderate or deluxe. And for the deluxe, I actually went with Saratoga Springs or Old Key West, because if you have a large family, let's say there's like 10 in your party, you could get a 2-bedroom villa at Saratoga Springs. You also have a kitchen with it. You have a washer and dryer if that's something that would be advantageous to you. And Saratoga Springs and Old Key West are the least expensive of the deluxe.
I got
ones.
it.
What?
Got my answer.
What?
You want big, you got a lot of people, get an RV and say Fort Wilderness Campground.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Boom!
That's
Bring
a
a
good
golf
idea.
cart.
That's a good idea. You know, one time, this is kind of like a side note, but one time, I grew up showing animals for the stock show, and we would go to a stock show outside of Houston, and we rented an RV one time. So you could actually rent an RV from a company. They dropped it off for us, set it up and everything like that, and then have it at Fort Wilderness.
Or have 5 of them because you have a large family.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good idea. Or actually, the cabins are a good idea too. You were like,
And ride a horse while you're there.
yeah.
Nobody talks about that.
You can stay in the cabins at Fort Wilderness. The only downside to that is the cabins have like one room and it has a queen bed in it with a bunk bed, which I kind of feel like is a weird layout. But they're redoing the cabins, so maybe they'll look a little different. They're going to be more modern looking, kind of like tiny houses. But they have a full kitchen. They have a living room, and like Tony said, they have a ton of recreation there. They have an archery course. You can go horseback riding. You can go fishing. You can go kayaking. There's Hoop-de-Doo Review there. All that stuff.
Hoop-de-doo. That's on our bucket list too. I haven't done that one yet.
No. But again.
We haven't even made it to that resort yet.
No. Well, I feel like since we're from Texas, like...
It's kind of what we do over here.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It's kind of everywhere, so it's not, but it'd still be fun to do.
I think Hoop-de-Doo would be really fun. It's just probably like down-home southern cooking, which we can eat anywhere here. But so if you don't have that at home, like I think that's a really cool option. It's like I've heard people say before, they don't stay at the resorts. Like if you're from,
reminds them of their house.
Yeah, if you're from like Washington or Oregon, you're probably not going to want to stay at Wilderness Lodge. We love Wilderness Lodge because that's not where we're from. You know?
Yeah, we're not in East Texas. We're in South Texas.
Yeah. Best resort for our couples trip to Disney World.
Same thing. It's gonna be biased. My first one was Coronado.
Ooh.
So we stayed there our second trip.
And we were
that one has
spoiled.
everything, and it's your subtle Disney. It's almost kind of like walking into a Vegas kind of hotel in a way.
If you stay in the tower.
In the tower. That's what we say. Yeah, so it's a completely different experience if you're not in the tower, which we haven't stayed in the tower. Not in the tower.
Yeah.
Not in the tower.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one has everything though.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't have all the restaurants open when we were there, so it was during COVID still.
Right. There's 9
Three
different...
Bridges was there. That Three Bridges is probably
Three Bridges Chef's Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Three Bridges. There's Dahlia Lounge at the top of Grand Casino Tower.
Rick's Sports Bar
Rick's
in the bottom.
Sports Bar.
That one was really good. Breakfast, lunch.
What is the tapas place? Toledo Tapas and Seafood Restaurant. There's a Mexican food place in the bottom of the tower.
But it's a couples. I mean, it could be any resort. This is when we've had experience.
Yeah,
actually
I
biased
agree.
towards it. So really, my other one was Wilderness Lodge. That was yours.
Those are my exact same. I would say Coronado Springs is a great resort. Like, we were originally supposed to stay at Caribbean Beach that trip. I don't know if you remember this. And then Disney came out with some type of discount offer. And Caribbean Beach had booked up all the king size rooms. So we switched to Coronado Springs because we get a king room there. And I was like instantly nervous that we weren't going to like it, which is so weird because we had only stayed on the Skyliner before. And the downside of Coronado Springs is that it only has bus transportation to the parks. With that said, though, it's the most centrally located resort on Disney property, so you're not far from anywhere. You're literally like what? Like a highway or like an overpass away from Broadway, from the boardwalk.
But another one of our pro tips is if you're in a hurry, just get an Uber.
Yeah, especially if you're on a couple trips.
Don't let it be stressful. Just hop an Uber real quick.
I think you could go anywhere. Like
it's not a big deal.
We've stayed at Coronado, we've stayed at Caribbean Beach and Wilderness Lodge, we've stayed at Saratoga and Beach Club for our anniversaries. You can't go wrong with anywhere. My other one too was Wilderness Lodge, just because we love that one. I love the fact that you can book a standard room at Wilderness Lodge, and our room had a view of the monorail going into the Contemporary, and we could see Space Mountain from our patio. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, for us, we just like all the ambiances. We like to have a good kind of like not bar situation, but like an outdoor thing is cool. That's a wilderness lodge. You can eat and sit out by the water.
Right.
Not just your typical kind of sit in a restaurant side somewhere. So that was cool there. In Coronado, same thing. You're in Three Bridges, so
Yeah.
it's like being kind of Disney Springs and your resort at one.
Well, and Wilderness Lodge has boat transportation to the Magic Kingdom, and then they have bus transportation to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. Sorry,
Cool.
I think they also do bus transportation to Magic Kingdom, but they have like a pretty good like the quick service place in the morning. One of my favorite things about Wilderness Lodge is Wilderness Lodge has a really grand lobby, and all of the rooms kind of like facilitate around the lobby because it's set up like a lodge. And one of the coolest things is each of the floors has fireplaces. So Tony would mobile order like breakfast for us in the morning. He'd go down and pick it up, and then one morning like he just like set up this cute little like we just ate in front of the fireworks. Fire.
Third, second story there, just chilling, eating our eggs and bacon.
Yeah, it's not a far walk to the lobby from your room because the hotel itself, like if you're staying in the main hotel area, not the DVC villas, is not very like big in size. So it's not a far walk from the lobby to the lobby or down from your room. There's, like Tony said, there's Geyser Point, which is such a good restaurant. It's a lounge outside on the water.
I'm blanking. What's the downstairs? The one that everyone talks about? We're throwing straws that everybody ate at. I'm blanking.
Oh!
Can't not talk about that. You're blanking too.
It's not Roaring Fork. Roaring Fork's the quick service place. It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me.
And it's almost like a character in a way because how interactive the waiters and waitresses are. But it definitely kicked up since COVID came back. They're starting to do all the skits again with
Since
the
COVID
catch up.
went away, you mean?
It's what?
Since COVID went away.
Yeah.
Whispering Canyon Cafe.
Whispering Canyon, yeah. So we ate there last time.
Um,
2 times
When we stayed there, yeah.
It's good, but it just depends on what you're in the mood for. I feel like I got the wrong thing.
It's
I literally just
skillets.
I don't even think I got eggs with mine. I just got straight meat.
No, you
I thought I
got
would
the
like that.
carnivore skillet. Whispering Canyon Cafe is a table service restaurant that's downstairs in the lobby of Wilderness Lodge. So it's really cool. They do like a lot of hijinks and stuff. Like for example, if you ask for ketchup, I don't want to spoil it, but if you ask for ketchup, they're going to give you every bottle of ketchup in the entire restaurant. But they're known for their skillets that they have. I think when we went, I'm pulling it up right now, but when we went, you got the carnivore skillet. So it had like cornbread with honey butter, pork ribs, brisket, pulled pork, chicken, potatoes, and butter corn and charred carrots. I don't remember what I got, but I got
You got the other skillet.
I got the lighter side skillet, and either the lighter side or the heritage skillet. Either one. Oh yeah, I got the heritage skillet, and I just asked for it. Like I got the gluten-free version of it, and so it came with Mickey waffles, which are like my go-to in the mornings. Scrambled eggs, potatoes, bacon, sausage links, and sausage gravy. That one was really, I liked that, and I think you ate off of mine.
At some point, I'd like meat, but it was just, that was all there was.
Yeah.
So I got burnt out quick on it.
That's a really fun
It
restaurant.
just kind of felt weird first thing in the morning having all that meat.
True. That's
It's
a really
like
fun
lunch or
restaurant. They do lunch and dinner there too. You can get different skillets for lunch and dinner. They usually have like different like themed like drinks for breakfast and for lunches and stuff. That's a fun restaurant too. And then they have Storybook Dining at Artist Point, which is the character dining experience. And if you sit outside at Geyser Point, you can see the fireworks from the Magic Kingdom, which is really cool.
And if you want to cry, you just go ahead and cry while you're there.
I cry everywhere at Disney, so that's no different
We
when
had
we're together.
How about the cast member they had there that was...
I wish I knew her name. She was so sweet.
Kathy, we'll say Kathy.
I gave her a cast compliment, and she was so nice. Like, I ask everywhere that we go at Disney, hey, like, do you like working here? Like, do you like living in Florida? Does it take away the magic if you're, like, working here and you're living here? Because that's, our intentions for someday. And not to work there, but to live there. And so I asked...
She had nothing bad to say about anything.
No, she was born and raised there. She loves going to Disney. She works at Geyser Point. She's worked at several different places on Disney property. She said the only time she didn't enjoy going to the parks was she used to work somewhere in Hollywood Studios. And she didn't necessarily enjoy going to Hollywood Studios because she was there all the time. All the other parks she still enjoyed going to. So that was so much fun. And she actually has like befriended people who just came or were guests that were coming in to eat there too. So
always got to go and talk to cast members. It just makes so much more of a trip when you're hearing it from their perspective.
The Disney cast members truly create the magic. Like if you are a Disney cast member and you were listening to this podcast, like we appreciate you so much. We've had so many incredible cast member interactions just because we talked to them. And
you pick up on it because sometimes when they're kind of, not on top of their game, it's like, like Peter Pan. If they don't sprinkle that dust on there, it's not the same.
The Peter Pan.
The pixie dust.
At Magic Kingdom, at the...
when the bar goes down, you go on the ride, they sprinkle the pixie dust on there. And when you get some guy that's a little lazy, it's like, come on, man.
Do you remember L7?
Remind me.
We were at Galaxy's Edge
his name.
at Hollywood Studios, and the name tags look a little different. Like they're written differently
The font's weird.
They're like on Batu, and Tony was like, "Your mom, what did you say?" Like you were like,
I don't know if I was asking a question or I don't know.
You were like, "Is your name L7?" And he was like, "No, my name's Ed. My mom wouldn't name me L7."
I was like, oh, is this like a joke because of where we're at in the land is like really themed up or like
Or the cast member on the bus to Pop Century from Animal Kingdom in September. She took the time. It was the end of the day. The park was closing, and she took the time to give all of the children on the bus the honorary bus driver passes. And then she found out it was someone's birthday, and the entire bus sang happy birthday to the person that was
This
on
was
there.
After, I think 4 kids were crying on there.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of like, we really like what you're doing, but everybody's tired and exhausted, so hurry it up.
No, but it completely changed the mood of the entire bus ride.
It was just, you could
I gave her a class compliment.
Come on, let's go.
If you don't know, in the Disney World app, when you tap on the hamburger icon in the lower right hand corner, if you go all the way down, you can tap the cast compliment option, and all you need to do is know their name, I think maybe where they're from or where they were serving at that day, and then you can write them a compliment. It actually goes a long way in helping them to possibly get promotions, but also just get recognized by their supervisors and stuff like that, and they go above and beyond to help the guests. Our next one is best resort for a family with little ones.
So another hypothetical, and I feel like I'm saying the same thing. So reiterate, we've already said Pop and Art. We'll talk about the third one that I have, which we haven't talked about, is Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Ooh.
Specifically, I think because the animals. I think that would keep kids more entertained too when they're looking at animals all day long.
That's
if you
good,
have more resort time.
Yeah.
Or else you're having to take them everywhere all the time and show them new things.
I think it depends on their age. I think if you get a Savannah View room, that, like you said, that could buy you
look at
some
the
time.
Look at the animals, kids.
Yeah. It's not really hypothetical though, because we're about to be parents in December.
We just haven't done it though, so we don't really know.
I was talking on our previous episode that we recorded about the fact that we're pregnant with identical twin girls. What we've forgotten to say is the whole reason why this podcast is named the Double Dose of Disney podcast is because we say that the girls are a double dose of Disney magic.
So are we.
Yes, so are we. So we're the double dose of Disney family, But I chose Art of Animation Resort because, again, Art of Animation Resort has family suites. So depending on if you want, sometimes it's important for the parents to have a separate sleeping area than the kids. If the kids are going to go to sleep earlier and the parents don't want to. So you could do a family suite in that scenario. I also have a lot of families that I work with that just put the pack and play in the bathroom area, and that's kind of their separation.
Or if you're at Animal Kingdom Lodge, just put it on the porch so they can look at the animals.
What?
Look at the animals at the same time. They're hanging out. Everyone's having fun.
You put the pack and play on the patio for them to sleep?
You don't know until you know.
Huh. Okay. That is not our plan. I said Art of Animation Resort. I said Caribbean Beach because that's one of the resorts we're really considering with the girls. Again, it has rooms that sleep 5. It also has an amazing pool area that is themed to be kind of Pirates of the Caribbean. It's on the Skyliner, And one of my biggest hacks about taking little ones to Disney is if you get a resort that is on the Skyliner or the monorail, you don't have to fold down your stroller as long as it is a tandem stroller. So our stroller is the Up a Baby Vista, which like one goes in front of the other. If you have a side-by-side stroller, you're still gonna have to collapse that down because it's just too wide. Also, for the deluxe category is Contemporary, which has not like... Contemporary is the least expensive resort on the monorail route. Depending on how old your little ones are, it may be advantageous to stay at the Contemporary resort because...
Big word. That's a big word.
Advantageous?
Advantageous.
Because then you can hop on the monorail really easily. Or you can just walk over to the Magic Kingdom because it's the closest resort to the Magic Kingdom.
I feel like that one's a really popular one for kids.
And they're supposed to have a really great splash pad there. The pool area at the Contemporary, I just feel like, we'll be honest, like we're not the biggest fans of the Contemporary because it just feels like there's a lot of different things like going on that don't necessarily coincide. But
Chef Mickey's.
Well, there's Chef Mickey's too, but I still wouldn't take our girls there. Like that's my least favorite of the character dining because it's just plain like quick service breakfast, and you're paying more for it. Yes, you get to meet Mickey and them. But you can meet them at other places and have better food. But yes, it does have Chef Mickey's too. And it has a monorail that runs through it. So it does have a lot running on, like going on there.
Moving on.
Best resort for a no budget vacation. Like this is like a bucket list. You can do anything. You can book a VIP tour. You can stay anywhere you want. What is your resort that you would stay at?
So I didn't think about it until now, but I have the Poly. But then they also have what's the little villas on the water there?
The bungalows.
The bungalows. So that actually makes sense. But first, the Poly.
Yeah.
We the bungalows. So they're like little mini condos. They only have like 10 of them over there, but that's definitely.
Yeah.
That would definitely be probably top of the top.
Yeah, but what about the Wilderness Lodge? Like now that you're saying that.
Yeah, the same Wilderness Lodge.
The cabin
on the water there.
Yeah, the cabin's on the water.
So it's pretty much the same thing. Just different setup.
They're just not over the water.
That was different too. I had the Grand in there, Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Just because we had a good expense. Most expensive ones. And then Contemporary.
Yeah.
Try anything once. We say we're not fans, and we never really actually stayed at Contemporary.
So I will say with the Contemporary, I think that when we take the girls, like our first trip, like we'll probably, I don't know, we talk about maybe seeing a Caribbean beach.
It's probably like a huge blanket.
What?
Not underrated. Overrated? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're saying, yeah, we're overrated. Overrated on the Contemporary.
Yes, the Contemporary just feels
Our opinion.
overrated. It's also got Incredibles theming in it. And it just, I don't know, there's something like, no offense to anyone that loves the Contemporary, but there's just something about it that doesn't quite make sense to me. And I'm not sure why. Like, I'm sure...
It's just the OG.
I'm sure when it opened, I'm sure it was grand. The coolest thing about the Contemporary to me is a very like little known Disney history fact is Walt Disney passed away before Walt Disney World was open. Walt Disney World he passed away before the parks were like really even like fully under construction at Magic Kingdom because it was built first. But he was such like a visionary and could see things that like weren't there yet. So they knew that they were going to build the Contemporary and they were going to build Polynesian, and there was another resort that they had like ideas of where they wanted to build. And he went up into a lift crane with Joe Fowler, which was kind of like his right hand man, and Walt like went up and like looked up in this like lift crane in like the basket of a crane. And he said he wanted a rooftop restaurant on the top of the Contemporary that looked over the Magic Kingdom. And he just like had this vision in his head of how it was going to look. Obviously, he never got to see it like come to fruition. But at the top of the Contemporary, there's California Grill. So California Grill was really envisioned by Walt, which makes it really cool. And we've never gotten to eat there yet.
And all those rooms are prefab when they put them in there too.
Yeah, that's cool too. It's an A-frame building and they're all just
slid in. Are they doing it the same right now with the Grand Floridian?
No, the Poly. With the DVC villas. The new wing.
It looks similar.
Yeah.
How they're making it.
Yeah, so they were concrete, just concrete rooms that were just like slid in.
Crazy.
I know. We do love eating at Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary. Steakhouse 71's like a really great restaurant. I kind of feel like that restaurant's underrated.
I was going to mention it, but we were talking about little kids, so I didn't think it'd be one to throw them there.
You could take little kids there. I don't think anywhere at Disney is so stuffy besides like, and I'm not saying stuffy in a bad way, but besides like Victoria and Albert's or somewhere like that where children aren't allowed, that you can't take them. I think Steakhouse 71, especially if you go for breakfast or something like that.
It's two, I have side notes. Swan and Dolphin.
Yeah.
I know you got your opinions on. Do they fit anywhere, and what are they about?
Well, I didn't even tell you what my best resort was for a no budget vacation.
Okay.
My resort for a no budget vacation would be the Poly, because I would want a room that looks out over the theme park view. We're always at the Polynesian anyway. Like have not stayed there. We go there every single trip. We've gone to Kona Cafe. We've eaten at Ohana. We've gone to Kona Coffee in the morning. We've gone to Captain Hook's. I think we've eaten at...
Get drinks at...
Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's. You get your souvenir mugs.
The only places we have not eaten at the Polynesian are at the pool bars because we have not stayed there yet.
I feel like the Poly is the #1 resort.
Yeah, so, and here's like a full disclosure. When the first time we went to Disney, we didn't go to the Poly. The second time we went to Disney, we went to the Poly and we ate at Kona Cafe. And it was during COVID. And everything was kind of strange. Like that trip was just kind of... It was a great trip, but that trip was just different. Because the parks closed before like it was even nighttime. And we had a dining reservation at Kona Cafe and they were refurbishing the Poly. And we walked into the lobby of the Poly and we were like, I don't get the hype here. Like,
we've never even been there before, too, right?
Yeah, we were like,
we didn't know where we were going.
We were like, what is going on? Like, I don't really get the hype here. This just looks like an old building because half of it was closed at the time and it didn't have like everything going on in the lobby and stuff that it normally does. And then we ate at Kona Cafe, and that was a weird experience too because that restaurant was like partially under renovations. But Trader Sam's Grotto, if you have never been there, you have got to go there. It's a lounge at the Polynesian that's kind of like a speakeasy style lounge. You are like, it's
not
down.
the little ones, really.
It's downstairs from Ohana. It opens at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it closes at either 11 or midnight.
You gotta put your name on there if you want to get in or get lucky because it's really small.
Yeah, so we ate there a couple of years ago on our anniversary. Well, we ate at Ohana a couple of years ago on our anniversary. Before our reservation, we went downstairs to Trader Sam's. You kind of have to know where it's at because the door is just...
There's not a huge sign saying open here.
No, it's really like a speakeasy style restaurant. And it's like this...
Like walked in this random, I think it's a bathroom or something.
If you just walked in there and you weren't a Disney fan, you would think that this is some type of like tropical cult or something like that.
It's basically a small version of the Tiki Room.
Yes. And it's a bar. And... it's a bar and lounge until, I believe, 7 p.m. Children are allowed in it. After that, it's adults only. You have to be 21 and up to get inside. And they do have, like, light bites and stuff. I think the table beside us was having, like wings and stuff like that. Yeah. We just got drinks there. And the drinks are, like, they're,
and you gotta... Every drink you get has its own little mystery, different mug, and then do something different happens in the room, where the person that brings you does something funny. But you definitely have to buy. You got to buy at least one of the mugs while you're there.
Yeah, and they also have Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace, which is the outdoor version of it. But you miss out on all of like the things that happen in the restaurant and stuff like that if you're sitting out there. They usually have live music, so it's a cool atmosphere if you can't get into the Trader Sam's Grotto itself. But I would say definitely do that. So I say the Poly because we're always there.
I feel like this whole show's been at the Poly.
They have the monorail transportation. They have the boat transportation. They have a walking path to the Magic Kingdom. They have buses that take you to Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. It's really got everything going on.
We've never stayed there.
No. And now that the rooms have been like refurbished and stuff, I love that resort. Like, I cannot wait for us to stay there.
So moving back, is there anything to say about the Swan and Dolphin for any of these questions? Is it worth it for any of them? Do you get in the perks still with the Swan?
The Swan and Dolphin is actually the first resort I ever stayed at Disney World when I went with my family when I was little.
Black and white TV, folks.
No, it was not black and white TV. It was like in the late 90s. It was fun. That was during the Michael Eisner era, which is weird to think about now. But it was fun. I think it's called the Soda Fountain. It's like an old restaurant. The Swan and Dolphin, if you are looking for a resort that doesn't have Disney theming, because it's the only resorts on Disney property, like next to the parks, that is owned or that is managed by another hotel company. So the Swan and Dolphin are managed by Marriott, and they're not gonna have like the traditional like Disney theming, of course. As like a Disney history nerd, Michael Eisner made a deal with, he was wanting to build all these other resorts on property because he realized that there were all these good neighbors that people were staying at off property, and so the Disney company like really kind of like took this task underway to build extra resorts on property. So he was working with all of these architects. Michael Eisner had a lot of great ideas, and he was a great CEO until like kind of like toward the end. But he worked with like all of these like different architects to build these different buildings. And he worked with Marriott. They had said, yes, you can go ahead and build something on property. Then Disney went back and was like, actually, like, we still want to kind of have control of that because it's on our property. So they worked with an architect to build the Swan and Dolphin Resort. Now there's the Swan Reserve there too. But the Swan and Dolphin are kind of supposed to be themed more modern, like Fantasia. So I think I stayed at the Dolphin when I was a kid, and I thought that there were going to be dolphins there. I wanted to be a dolphin trainer when I was little, so I thought there were going to be dolphins there. We went for a convention. So it's definitely, it was like for my dad's work. So it definitely was it's a convention hotel. So I think you miss out on that Disney theming. But with that said,
so in terms of this show, I would say not first visit. If you did this one, I would say possibly large family or a couples.
I would say couples.
Never for a first trip ever though.
The rooms have, I would say couples. The rooms sleep 4, so they all have like two queen beds. I think you could get a king bed if they just see that there's 2 people in the room. We've never stayed there before.
The boat access is cool though. That's another perk.
Yeah, so it has the friendship boats that'll take you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. There's a lot of dining locations at these resorts, so that's something that people really love. And there's a lot of really great places. There's a sushi place that people love. There's an Italian place that people love. Like I said, the Fountain, the burger place was like really fun. I remember it being fun when I was a kid. So it's a great resort because it's located literally like right outside of Epcot.
This one's controversial. Is it any cheaper than anywhere else? Everybody says it is.
It is cheaper than, so if you're comparing it to a Disney Deluxe resort, it's cheaper. Here's the caveat with it. Most of the Swan and Dolphin rooms do not have balconies. So the Deluxe Resort rooms have balconies, which to me, like, if you're paying that much, it's nice to have a balcony to go sit on in the mornings and something like that. Yeah, we usually sit out on our balcony. So if we went to Beach Club, as a side note, this has nothing to do with anything, but Beach Club has like Juliet balconies, which means like...
You can stand on it and that's it.
Yeah. It's literally, they don't even have a chair out there. So
Romeo and Juliet can stand on there and that's it.
Yeah, it was kind of pointless. But we did like Beach Club too. But I would say a couples trip. I've booked a lot of couples trips to Disney World where they stayed at Swan and Dolphin. I've also booked girls trips where they stayed at the Swan and Dolphin. The new Swan Reserve is also owned by Marriott, and it's right like across the road from the Swan and Dolphin, so it shares all the same amenities. Their pools are really cool at the Swan and Dolphin. So it could be something that's a great resort for families, just depending on if you want that Disney theming. But again, your kids are going to miss out on like the nods of Disney. One of the things about the Swan and Dolphin too to know is you can't get a Magic Band there. Well, you can use Magic Band in the parks, but you can't use your Magic Band to charge things to your room.
Doesn't operate anything.
No. You can't use a dining plan there. And because it's not a Disney resort, the transportation works a little different. So
pro tip, just stay here if you get a good deal, but we don't recommend it.
Yeah, like, so when you go, it's the only difference is when you go to Magic Kingdom, you get dropped off, your bus drops you off at the Ticket and Transportation Center. It doesn't drop you off at the front of the Magic Kingdom because it's not a Magic Kingdom or a Disney-owned resort. And then you have to transfer to like a monorail or a boat or a bus to take you over to Magic Kingdom. So
that's it. That's our questions.
That's our questions for this week. But we hope you've gained some new ideas for places to stay on your next Disney vacation and all.
Tell us yours.
My rambling and babbling of Disney resorts. Yes, tell us I will post stories today of what is your favorite resorts that you stayed at Walt Disney World. I'll also post a question box of what questions do you have about going to Walt Disney World. Maybe it's questions we haven't yet answered on the show or something like that. And as always, if you have any suggestions or anything for us, go ahead and give us a follow at the Double Dose of Disney Fam over on Instagram and TikTok. And please, please, please leave us a rating or a review on your favorite podcast platform.
If you like it, if not, move on.
Yeah, don't leave us a 1-star rating. Just move on. Just move on.
Just DM us if you don't like it.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good week.